You set 8 alarms last night. You told yourself this time would be different. This time you would actually get a full night of sleep and wake up feeling like a human being. And then the alarm went off and you opened your eyes, and that familiar heaviness hit you like a wall. Not just tired, something deeper than tired. Your body felt like it was filled with wet concrete. Your head was foggy before the day even started. And somewhere in the back of your mind a quiet voice whispered, "What is wrong with me?" Nothing is wrong with you. But something is definitely wrong with how you are sleeping. And that is exactly what we are going to fix today, because the truth about why you wake up exhausted after a full 8 hours is so much simpler than you think, and once you understand it, you cannot unsee it. Let me paint you a picture. You probably already know what it feels like to drag yourself through a morning that should feel fresh. You make your coffee, and instead of it waking you up, it just stops you from falling asleep standing up. You sit at your desk, or you start your day, and within an hour you are already fantasizing about your bed. Not because you are lazy, not because you lack discipline, but because your body is running on empty, even though you technically slept. And what makes this so maddening is that you are doing everything society tells you to do. 8 hours, bed by 10, phone down, lights off, and still, nothing. That exhaustion bleeds into everything. It bleeds into your patience with the people you love. It bleeds into your ability to think clearly at work. It bleeds into your motivation to exercise, to cook, to pursue anything that actually matters to you. And over time it starts to feel like this is just who you are now. A tired person, someone who just cannot seem to get it together. Someone who needs 3 cups of coffee to feel halfway human by noon. But here is what is actually happening, and this is where it gets genuinely interesting. Sleep is not one single thing. Your brain cycles through different stages throughout the night, and each of those stages does a completely different job. There is light sleep, deep sleep, and REM sleep, and they cycle through roughly every 90 minutes. When you are getting 8 hours but still waking up destroyed, it almost always means you are not getting enough of the stages that actually restore you. Specifically deep sleep and REM. You might be unconscious for 8 hours, but unconscious and actually restorative are two very different things. And this matters so much that researchers at some of the world's leading sleep institutes have found that people who get 6 hours of genuinely high-quality sleep consistently outperform people who get 8 hours of fragmented, low-quality sleep on every single cognitive measure. Memory, reaction time, emotional regulation, problem solving, all of it. Quality is not just better than quantity, it destroys it. So if you have been fighting this battle for months or even years, I want you to know that there is a real reason, a real physiological reason, and it is fixable. But I also need to be honest with you. Most of what is keeping you stuck has probably never been addressed directly. That is actually why we put together a program specifically for this, and you can find it linked in the description below. I am not going to make this whole video about it because right now I want to give you actual value you can use immediately. But if after watching this you want a complete system that goes deeper, check it out. The people who wait on this stuff usually wait for another year of exhaustion first. Just something to think about. Now, back to what is actually wrecking your sleep. The number one thing, and this is going to sound almost insultingly simple. Your nervous system is not calm enough when you go to sleep. Not even close. Here is what most people do not realize. Your body has 2 modes. Fight or flight, which is your stress response, and rest and digest, which is your recovery response. And the problem is that modern life is almost perfectly designed to keep you locked in fight or flight mode from the moment you wake up until the moment you crash into bed. Your phone is a constant source of low-grade urgency. Your to-do list never ends. Your evenings are filled with screens that emit the exact frequency of light that tells your brain it is still noon. And then you expect your nervous system to just flip a switch and drop into deep restorative sleep. It does not work that way. Studies have shown that cortisol, your primary stress hormone, directly suppresses the production of melatonin, which means if you are even mildly stressed before bed, which most people are every single night, your body is actively fighting against its own ability to fall into deep sleep. You might fall asleep, but you will stay in the lighter, more restless stages. You will wake up more, and you will never fully reach the delta wave deep sleep that is responsible for physical recovery, immune function, and the emotional processing that keeps you feeling sane. Here is a number that always stops people in their tracks. Studies suggest that sleep deprivation, defined as regularly getting low-quality sleep, reduces cognitive function by up to 40%. That means you are showing up to every single day of your life operating at 60% of your actual capacity. Every decision you make, every creative thought you try to have, every conversation you try to fully be present for, all running at 60%. And you have probably adapted to that so completely that you think this is just who you are. It is not who you are. It is what bad sleep does to you. Now let me tell you about something called sleep pressure. Your body naturally builds up a sleep drive throughout the day, driven by a compound called adenosine that accumulates in your brain the longer you are awake. By the time you should be going to sleep, that pressure should be high enough to pull you into deep sleep fast, But here is the catch. If you nap too late in the day, if you drink caffeine after 2 in the afternoon, or if your sleep and wake times are inconsistent, you bleed off that sleep pressure before bedtime. And then you get into bed and you feel almost wired. Tired but wired. That is your adenosine being disrupted. Consistency in your sleep schedule is not just a nice idea. It is one of the single most powerful levers you can pull. Research consistently shows that people who wake up at the same time every single day, including weekends, dramatically improve their deep sleep quality within just 2 weeks. 2 weeks, not months, not years. 2 weeks of consistent wake times can begin to transform how you feel in the morning. But there is another layer here that almost nobody talks about. Your bedroom temperature. This sounds too simple to matter, but your core body temperature needs to drop by about 1 to 2 degrees Fahrenheit to initiate deep sleep. Your body does this automatically, but it needs help. If your room is too warm, your body struggles to make that temperature drop, and you spend more time in lighter sleep stages. Researchers at institutions studying thermoregulation and sleep have found that the optimal bedroom temperature for deep sleep falls somewhere between 60 and 67 degrees Fahrenheit. That small adjustment alone has measurably improved sleep quality for the people who make it. And then there is the thing nobody wants to hear. Alcohol. So many people have a glass of wine or a beer in the evening to wind down, and it genuinely does help you fall asleep faster. That part is real. What is also real is what it does to your sleep architecture. Alcohol fragments your REM sleep dramatically. It keeps you in lighter stages. It causes you to wake up in the second half of the night as your liver processes it, and it suppresses the emotional memory processing that REM sleep is responsible for. The morning after a few drinks, that groggy, hollow, disconnected feeling is not just dehydration. It is your brain telling you it did not get the restoration it needed. Now here is something that changed everything for the people who actually apply it. Your body is running on something called a circadian rhythm. It is essentially an internal 24-hour clock, and it is governed almost entirely by light. Specifically sunlight in the morning and darkness in the evening. When you get natural light exposure within the first 30 to 60 minutes of waking up, you set your circadian clock for the day. This tells your brain exactly when to be alert and exactly when to start releasing melatonin in the evening. It is like calibrating a compass. And when that compass is calibrated, everything downstream in your sleep cycle falls into place more naturally. People who implement morning light exposure consistently report falling asleep faster, sleeping deeper, and waking up with noticeably more energy within 10 to 14 days. That is not a supplement. That is not a gadget. That is just working with the biology you already have. The difference between someone who wakes up genuinely energized and someone who drags through their life exhausted is almost never about how long they sleep. It is about the precise conditions their body and brain are given to do the work that sleep is supposed to do. And most people have never been shown those conditions clearly. Which brings me back to where you are right now. If you have been living with this kind of exhaustion, you already know the cost. You know what it has done to your relationships. You know what it has done to your work. You know what it has done to how you see yourself. And if there is any part of you that is ready to actually change that, the program linked in the description below is for you. We built it for people who are done with surface-level advice that does not move the needle. It goes into the complete system, the full depth, and the people who go through it do not just sleep better. They describe feeling like themselves again for the first time in years. But here is the thing. You can keep researching. You can keep trying things here and there. Or you can just solve this. The information in this video is real, and it will help you. But if you are serious about ending this exhaustion for good and not just managing it, go check out the program right now. Do not let today be another day that passes while you tell yourself you will figure it out eventually. Eventually has a way of becoming never. Take the step. It is waiting for you below.